Okay, we are live.
Well, thank you and good evening, and welcome to our first public engagement session for the 2025 budget for the municipality of North Grenville. Hillary, can you put up the presentation? And welcome to our first public
1 second, we got some feedback
for the 2025 budget for the municipality of North.
Okay, start sharing. There you go.
So I'll just continue on. This budget has been developed with a clear focus on maintaining fiscal responsibility, promoting strategic investment, and fostering community growth, all while navigating the unprecedented times we continue to face. And tonight we are presenting a tax rate increase of proposal of 3.33%. Sorry for my confusion in English there. In the current climate of economic uncertainty and evolving community needs, our approach for the 2025 aims to address key priorities, including infrastructure, recreation, housing, and economic development. This budget strikes a careful balance between investing in our community's future and ensuring affordability for residents. The proposal you will see today reflects valuable input from the community through the budget survey, aligning our investments with the needs and priorities of North Grenville. Tonight, your senior management team is here and available to answer questions or any questions that you may have. Now I will pass this over to Deputy Director David Dancy. Next slide.
Thank you, Ms. Dunlop, and welcome to everyone to tonight's presentation. Tonight's agenda is as follows. We will go through a quick budget classification, a high-level summary of our budget, presentation by department. Each department will provide the strategic highlights from 2024. We will identify the community investments that are included in this budget. We will have the high-level draft 2025 operating budget. We will have some slides showing how both the blended and the municipal portion of your tax bill is calculated. We will have the draft 2025 capital budget, to which each director will talk their piece. And if we have, we can take questions on each operating budget by department if it is needed. Next slide, please. So the budget classification, as you know, the municipality provides two budgets each year, one for the wastewater and wastewater, and one for the municipality as a whole. As I said earlier tonight, we're going to go over the municipal budgets, both operating and capital, as the water and wastewater budget has already been approved by council. Within the budget, as I said, there's the operating component, which includes such items as wages and salaries, materials and supplies, maintenance of assets and infrastructure, community support, leases, programs and contract service, as well as the policing service. On the capital side, there's investments in buildings and facilities, roads and bridges, equipment and fleet, among other items. To put things simply, to calculate the amount of tax dollars needed, we take the total revenue, the total expenses that are identified within the budget. We subtract out non-tax revenues, which include user fees, investment income, grants, developer fees, etc. And from that is the municipal tax levy, or municipal tax levy that will be required to finance these budgets. Next slide, please. Right. So up here is the high-level budget summary by department, outlining just the top-level revenues and expenditures. The draw on the tax levy for the year as compared to the previous year. As you can see, we are presenting a budget with just about $34 million worth of expenditures in total, and a total levy of $20,041,416. A net increase of $1,877,612. Next slide, please. So we're moving into the strategic highlights from 2024. I will turn the floor over to Director Finley to talk about Public Works.
Thank you very much. So the 2024 Public Works highlights that we have for this presentation, of course, County Road 43 had started construction last year. It is a multi-year project that we will continue through this year and next year as well. We did complete some gravel rebuilds on Norton Road, Hess Road, and Town Line Road. We did complete a pedestrian crossing at the intersection of Prescott Street and Asa Street. We did complete River Road rebuild, which repaved the road and extended the paved shoulders on River Road from Acton's Corners to the bridge that we stopped at last year, or the previous year, sorry. We did purchase a new backhoe and sidewalk plow, as well as constructed a new sidewalk on Bridge Street from Van Buren to Parkinson Street.
Mark? I'll take over then. So from Parks, Recreation and Culture, a few of the 2024 Parks and Rec Culture highlights was the completion of the Riverside Multi-Use Pathway, various other installations around parks, but to highlight indoor and outdoor water filling stations at the North Grenville Public Library and the downtown core, as well as some major rehabilitations at the South Gore Park Pavilion roof with repainting and accessibility upgrades. And finally, Riverside Park parking lot received a rehabilitation, both pavement and stormwater. Next slide. Corporate services.
Thanks, Karen. So for corporate services, this includes NG Transit as well as corporate strategy and our IT division as well. So we did launch NG Transit in January of 2024. We had over 10,000 riders throughout the year. We actioned half of the downtown Kemptville parking study initiatives and are working on the other half in 2025. We were awarded 2 physician incentives in 2024 and actually a third at the very start of 2025. We finalized the EDI strategy. We supported the creation of Minochigak Mtigwake at the Ferguson Forest Center with our Indigenous Advisory Circle. We increased our rating in communities in bloom, and we also completed the council chamber upgrades, which allow for hybrid meetings.
Randy, Chief Ursulak.
Good evening. So in 2024, we completed our 2024 emergency management program requirements. We completed our community risk assessment. We hired 13 new recruits, 13 new firefighters, hired a new fire chief. We have our new council approved new amended firefighter honorarium. And we purchased all our required PPE for all our new recruits and our members.
So in 2024, the Planning and Development Department, which encompasses planning, building, and bylaw, saw some record building permit applications come through. So we did have 293 new housing starts. And what I want to highlight is that 88 of those are single detached, 111 were townhouse dwelling units, and 94 were apartment dwelling units. So that breakdown is about 70% of all new development occurring in the form of multi-residential development. We completed our official plan pre-consultation and public engagement session in the fall, which was an extensive consultation process with the community, looking at how we envision North Grenville growing over the longer term. We implemented our housing accelerator funds. We saw the establishment of our AMPS bylaw and updating of various municipal bylaws. Bylaw services saw 896 calls for service, and we also established our split shift, so bylaw has coverage from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m.
In regards to the Office of the CAO, a few of the 2024 highlights are the development of a communications policy, the award and commencement of the comp and org review, as well as upgrades for how we handle meetings, the eScribe for managing council reports, agendas, and minutes. I will also be doing the next slide, which is the economic development highlights. We completed the First Impressions program with Petawawa, launched the Follow 44 campaign, and launched the 2024 Tourism Guide, as well as continuing sector development through the Mayor's Task Force. Now on to library.
Thank you, Karen. In 2024, the library made seasonal Sunday hours permanent. We also had another record-breaking year for new members with over 1,100, which translates to a new member for every 2 hours that we are open. We beat our pre-pandemic numbers for total library visits, despite the fact that our open hours are actually less than they were in 2019. We also beat our pre-pandemic numbers for total circulation. And an interesting thing to note for the library and for this community is that we are a community that still likes to read and still prefers print books to ebooks, because almost 70% of total borrowing was through our physical collection. Finally, in terms of program attendance at the library still remains strong. We are averaging 18 people attending each program that we offer. And I will now turn it back over to the CAO.
Thank you very much. So our next slides, the next 3 slides represent the community investments is for such things as the community grants program, community support of 102,759 to various agencies, as well as long-term care facilities. Signature events such as Busker Fest and community development programs, which are embedded within certain operational departments, including some physician recruitment, mental health initiatives, Canada Day, and civic awards. Next page. So the total investment in community for the proposed 2025 budget is $837,284. Next slide. Within this value, there is $55,000, or within the allotted proposed budget, there is $55,000 of uncommitted community investments, and we have requests from Kempville Youth Center and House of Lazarus, and an outstanding one from the Ronald McDonald House. Next slide, please. And now I'll turn it back to Deputy Director Dancy. My assumption is.
Sorry,
No worries.
I'm talking to myself, which is not uncommon. As you can see on this slide, we have the consolidated operating budget for the municipality, totaling expenses and revenues of $29,156,478. On the expense side, the largest expense is in salaries, which includes wages for all staff, permanent and part-time, the fireman's honorarium, including the newly improved amounts, as well as various other items such as materials and supplies, insurance, contracted property services, which include our utilities, phones, cell phones, internet, repairs and maintenance of assets, hardware, software agreements, etc. There's also contracted professional services, which includes consulting services, hardware, software agreements, studies and reports. Other costs are the external fundings that we provide to various bodies and groups through grants and contributions, including the community investment that Ms. Dunlop had spoken about. Fiscal expenses includes all the interest paid on long-term debt, and it also includes the payments to the conservation authorities, which is probably shown in the debt servicing and transfers line, which includes transfers to capital reserves, principal payments to municipalities. On the revenue side, you can see the transfer from reserves, the total tax levy request of $20,041,416. Included in this budget, there is a budgeted amount for tax adjustments such as supplementals and omissions, user fees, grants that we are applying or have received commitments for. We have budgeted a transfer from development charges this year of $255,000 into the operating budget and various other revenues of $812,000. As you can see, we are presenting a balanced budget with total revenue equal to total expenses. Can we have the next slide, please? Within our budget this year, in the salaries line, there are some new roles or changing roles. There are two changing roles included in this budget. We have converted a drainage technologist from contract to a regular full-time, as well as the economic development coordinator has also been converted from a contract position to regular full-time. We are also asking for 3 new positions, which are the manager of engineering, an HR admin support person, as well as a parks and recreation community support person. I could have the next slide, please. Here's just a pie chart showing where the revenue is coming in, a visual aid, instead of just the straight dollar amounts. As you can see, the biggest bulk of revenue is coming in through taxation of over 70%. The other items are identified on the chart as well. Can I have the next slide, please? The municipality has a significant amount in reserves already, as you can see. As of the 2023 audited financial statements, we have total municipal reserves. We have over $21 million, which includes a municipal reserve as well as amounts for the Police Services Board, the library, as well as the water and sanitary sewage works. The 2024 budget numbers are not yet available because they have not been audited nor allocated for the end of the 2024 year. Also, it should be pointed out that the municipality has a deferred revenue for development charges, which had totaled $5.6 million at the end of 2023. And in 2024, we received approximately $7.5 million in new development charges. So the total available right at that point is almost 13 million. But again, that is unaudited and so far unallocated for year-end activities. Could I have the next slide, please? This is a listing of the current municipal debt that's on the books. In total, we'll be paying down $715,793 in principal, $487,000 and a bit in interest payments for total debt servicing costs of $1.2 million. After making these payments, the municipality will have outstanding balance of $8.4 million on its current debt. Could I have the next slide, please? So here we just are showing the calculation of a taxpayer's blended tax rates, where you see the property tax is a function of the property's assessed value from MPAC times the various rates for the municipal tax, the education tax for the school boards, and as well as the portion for the counties. It should be noted at this point that the property assessed value is from MPAC is still based on the 2016 values. Have the next slide, please. So to show the effects of the blended tax rate changes, we've put together this slide showing the changes in the various components of the total blended rate, where you can see the municipal rate and our request for a 3.3% increase. You can see the county rate with their approved 5.11% increase, and the education rate, which is being unchanged from 2024. This has resulted in a blended tax rate increase of 3.53%. Which equates for every $100,000 of assessed value on a property, residential property, a tax increase of $43.65. And for example, therefore, a residential property assessed at $500,000 would increase $218.25 for 2025. Got the next slide, please. This slide focuses solely on the municipal portion of the blended taxes. As you can see, our assessment base went up 2.69% over the year, which is a good thing. Again, though, the assessment values are still based on the 2016 impact value, not necessarily not the current market value. That should be stressed when someone is trying to figure out their taxes on their own. I've also provided a few examples showing the effects on a $300,000, $400,000, and $500,000 household, with monthly increases ranging from $5.44 to $9.06. Basically, every $100,000 of assessed value would result in an increase of approximately $23 and some change. Could I have the next slide, please? We'll be now moving into the draft capital budget for the municipality. The directors will speak to their set portion of the budget. First up, we will have just a high-level summary sheet by department, and you're seeing our total capital budget is approximately $15.5 million, and you'll see the breakdown by department. We plan on funding that amount through various sources, including a draw on the tax levy, various grants, drawdowns of reserves, some debt, other various revenues, and development charges to make up that total. And could I have the next slide, please? Our first department to speak will be the Public Works and Waste Management, and again to Director Finley.
Thank you. So as you can see, we do have a fulsome list of capital works projects for Public Works and Waste Management. A couple of highlights that I can bring out of this list is the continuation of County Road 43. As we mentioned before, it did start in 2024 and will continue for subsequent years. We do see a list here for Public Works roads projects. So a quick summary of the work that includes is gravel rebuild for Edward Scott Road and Slater Road. We do have surface treatment for the roads that were gravel rebuilt in 2024. So that includes Town Line Road, our section of Town Line Road, Norton Road, and Hess Road. We are also proposing to surface treat this section from County Road 43 to the dog park that is maintained year round. So that's a portion of Anniversary Way, Veterans Way, and Honor Way. In terms of some pavement overlays, we are proposing Bird Crescent, as Merrick Trail was done last year, as well as portions of Concession Road and Somerville Road, with some various costs after that. Another highlight we have identified is the Transportation Master Plan update that will include the active transportation portion in that as well. So those are some of the quick highlights of some of the projects we have brought forward.
Thank you, Mike. For Parks, Recreation, and Culture, we have a capital budget program focusing on parks and facilities. Our total for parks is $2,185,000. The bulk of that is the multi-use pathway on County Road 44, the extension from Settlers Trail to River Road at $1.7 million. We'll also be completing the Heron's Nest Park within the Tempo residential subdivision at a cost of $340,000. And at Curry Park, we are looking to install a new accessible dock there at a cost of $70,000. Under facilities, we have the proposed sports dome study design at $50,000. We will be looking at some security upgrades to some various facilities, namely Riverside Park, as well as the Blake Williamson Memorial Hall at $110,000. And we are going to be completing the Armory building, which is the Blake Williamson Memorial Hall, change of use project at $575,000. On the right-hand side are some unbudgeted projects at this point as part of the 2025 Parks and Rec capital budget. Thank you.
In regards to capital projects for the planning and bylaw department, the municipal staff are recommending putting in $5 million in relation to the renovation of Bell Hall for the 60 affordable rental units geared towards seniors and veterans. That would be contingent on us getting funding through CMHC. As a non-tangible capital asset, we're looking at our official plan update. We're looking at implementing development software, which is through MRF. That would be covered off through our Housing Accelerator Fund, as well as our additional residential unit plans, which again is another project under our Housing Accelerator Fund money allocation we got from the federal government. We are also looking at purchasing a animal control vehicle for bylaw services. Thank you.
Back to me for the North Grenville Municipal Center. We have a budget amount of $845,000. We've got some ice plant refrigeration upgrades that we need to take care of. Ice water treatment system, which is basically a water softening treatment system for our Zamboni operation. We are going to be upgrading our theater performance lighting to LED lighting. Replacing the carpet within the Urbandale Arts Center. We've got some AV upgrades to our hall suites as well at $100,000. We will be installing individual fixed seating in Arena 1 at a cost of $125,000 and modernizing our generator, which keeps the lights on during any type of storm where we lose power at $100,000. Thank you.
This next slide represents multiple different departments, so I will take a couple of them and then I will pass it off to Director Jeannot. The first one is in regards to the columbarium at $35,000. This is an installation that is proposed for the Kempville Cemetery and will be funded from the reserve of the cemetery. And I'm sorry if Director Boyce can talk to the communication strategy.
Hi, yep. So we also have a communications strategy set aside for $25,000, and that is to create a corporate crisis communication plan and a housing and growth communication strategy.
Director Jeannot?
Thank you, CEO Dunlap. So for corporate services, we have the NG Transit bus. So this would be a second bus that would allow us to provide commuter service to Ottawa, as well as a second on-demand bus in between the commuter service. We've also added $20,000 for our physician incentive. This is in addition to what's already in the operating budget, just to help us hedge our bets on how many agreements we'll be signing each year. And then as well, we put $15,000 in for a server replacement, which we have to replace every about 5 years. Thank you.
For finance, we have some studies and consulting works in the capital budget. The municipality is due for a long-term financial plan update. We also are undertaking a user fee analysis, which will identify areas where we might be able to improve our user fee collection, as well as asset management reporting, compliance reporting in order to meet OREG 588-17.
Emergency and Protective Services has $80,000 set out for our Fire Station 2 to acquire some land and do an engineering study on the building. We're also looking to buy another 4 sets of gear for the guys, as well as complete our fire master plan. We have a total of $184,000 budgeted. And that's it.
Thank you very much. And at this point in time, the presentation is complete. We do have, as I said, your senior management team here. Should there be questions from the public? I do see 2 members of the public that have registered. So should you have questions, I think, Hillary, that will be done through you.
Correct. Folks should be able to either unmute themselves or they can throw them in the chat. We just have Marianne saying no questions. Thanks.
We have one other person in attendance from the public. Would they like to ask any questions of the team?
And they just said no questions.
Okay, so well, we thank both of you for attending, and there will be a full in-person presentation of this presentation on the 17th at the Municipal Center, and we will have one other working session with council prior to what we anticipate and hope will be the passing of the 2025 proposed budget on March the 19th. So that completes